What's up, everyone? I'm Brian Albert, and I'm here with Dan Stapleton.
That's me.
Hey, we just saw Call of Duty Advanced Warfare at E3. They showed off 3 levels. One of them we saw during the press conference, and 2 more that we didn't see. So we're just going to run through them and talk about where each one took us and kind of the things we saw, the features of the game in each one. So first one is a level called Induction, and we saw this at the press conference. It's got all the drones and the swarms. Basically, you're defending... Oh, spoilers. Hold on now. We're not quite there yet. Basically, they're in South Korea, and they're helping defend this city that's under attack.
It's Seoul. Yeah.
Seoul, exactly. There you go. Look, people know that name, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the cool things that you think stood out from that little bit that we saw?
And we did get to see like a bunch of the advanced military hardware, and you've got when you first land in the drop pod that's kind of crash landing, you get out of that and you kind of rally with the rest of the American or international troops that you're fighting with.
You're a team of tier 1 operators.
Right. So you rally with them, and they've got like big tanky walker guys. It's implied that you'll get to drive one of those at some point, but we didn't get to see that.
We haven't. They can't hold us back from that.
And they have a great big like tank on legs crawling over stuff. It's a bunch of kind of setting the scene, setting the tone, establishing what the technology is 40 years down the line.
Exactly. Yeah. They kept saying like exosuits. These are like the part of being the advanced soldier. Yep. You can strafe. You can now jump onto things.
Right. Every soldier has this exoskeleton suit that lets you do a jump jet kind of thing. They drop down a hole and like use the jump jets to slow their fall.
Right.
They also
fall damage does not matter. You just boost and you're fine.
Yep. And I'm interested to know what kind of impact that will have on the multiplayer. On single player, it doesn't really have that much impact because Call of Duty is just kind of this linear, go right ahead. This is your path.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter whether that path is up or to the side or down. It's just a path. You don't have options.
Right.
So I don't think it changes the single player gameplay very much.
Sure. We didn't see any multiplayer, but if you can boost up on top of a building, that's totally not something you can do in Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's Titanfall.
Yeah, exactly. The second level we saw was this infiltration of like a secret like base in the forest in Bulgaria. And that had a totally different tone and theme to it.
It did. It was very stealth focused.
Right. It sort of felt a little bit like the All Gillied Up mission from Modern Warfare.
Right.
Except you were being hunted rather than setting up for a cool sniper shot.
Right. And it started out with just you and your partner running like hell from a helicopter that's tracking you with a spotlight, and a sniper rifle is going off right and left, and you're waiting for your suit to reboot, and once it finally does, you push a button and you go stealth.
Right.
So
it's not just like, oh, we got fancy guns. Like you're full on cloaked. Like this is future technology.
So how do you think that gameplay is going to be different from the ghillie suit level?
It seemed more about, if I remember correctly, the ghillie suit, you were still killing a lot of people. Right. You were just like doing it quietly. In this one, a lot of times the players would just sort of move past everyone. Like it almost seemed like you didn't want to get into combat.
Well, they also killed some people.
They did. I guess sometimes they come across like those huge mech dudes, like 5 of them, and you're like, you can't fight that. It just seems like it's going to be more focused on like avoiding patrols, avoiding those seeker things that can discover where you are.
I mean, for me, I think it's kind of too powerful for us because now, like with the ghillie suit, you at least had to kind of hold still when people were looking at you and conceal yourself. With this, you can pretty much just walk up to them and smack them in the face.
You look really powerful from what we saw.
Right. Pretty much everything in this game feels much more powerful than the typical Call of Duty. And what worries me a little bit is the enemies don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's still like early demos and stuff, but you have
we
crazy laser weapons and grenades that you throw in the air that go chase someone down.
Yeah, we may see heavier enemies in the future, but the guys that were fighting just getting mowed down.
They were. Then the third level we saw was on the.
You skipped the tank.
Oh right, we do end that level with this giant hover tank that we can drive, and it shoots missiles for like little. You can destroy infantry.
Missiles,
It fires like one main shell for big things, and then there's like an EMP cannon that you can use on drones and helicopters and whatnot.
Yeah, it put on a pretty good show. I'll give it that.
It really did. It's that game. Without having played it, it looks great and sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, like Call of Duty has gotten a lot of flack over the last few years for having this kind of aged look to it because it's always been targeted at the Xbox 360 and PS3. This one. Like, it's still going to come out on the 360 and PS3, but they're saying they're targeting the next-gen spec a lot more thoroughly.
Sure, they keep bringing up, they've had 3 years to develop this instead of the usual 2, so maybe they can make it look a lot better.
So the gameplay seems pretty much the same, but it looks like it belongs on the PS4 and Xbox One.
It really does.
And PC.
So before you interrupted me, I was talking about the Golden Gate Bridge, the last level. This was more, it started out with like a high-speed car chase. We're chasing down a van. We don't really know why. Whatever reason. We want it. We want it. That's a bad man in the van. And then the big thing on that level was showing off sort of the mobility of like your new jumpsuit.
Right. So you get knocked out of your truck because
Right.
you're doing kind of a driving and shooting scene for a while.
Sure.
You get knocked out of the truck, and then you have to do some jump jets over all the stopped traffic on the bridge.
Right. And there was also a point where the character actually just activated an ability that pretty much slowed time down.
Yeah, that
Which
seems like almost like a mandatory ability for shooter heroes to have these days.
Right.
Watch Dogs has it for no real reason. Focus.
Yep. It was in Red Dead. I mean, it's
All the way back to Max Payne.
Yep. I mean, we're no stranger to that, but that seemed really powerful too.
Yep.
But no, what happened is the drones came out and they were in the van and they came out and they swarmed and attached to the cables of the bridge and blew it up. And of course, it was the big Call of Duty spectacular thing.
Call of Duty always has to break something.
Absolutely, it's not Call of Duty otherwise. Any other big takeaways from that level?
No, we didn't see any Kevin Spacey in action, which is
We saw no Kevin Spacey. That's unfortunate. It seemed to be more on the gameplay rather than the story, which is what they led the game with.
There's an empty space where Kevin Spacey should be.
And with that, we're going to have a lot more on Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. We're going to have a few previews coming up over E3, so keep it on IGN for all of that. And for more on first-person shooters, Call of Duty, games in general, keep it right here on IGN.